Welcome. In front of me is an Infinix Note 30 Pro, and today I'll show you an unboxing along with a quick overview of this phone. So let's just get straight into it. Now at the back we have a couple important informations about the spec of this device. So we do have a 120 Hz AMOLED display, 108 megapixel camera, up to 16 gigabytes extra extended RAM. Okay, that's just bullshit. Dual speaker. Okay, so the rest of it doesn't really matter. So let's just get into it. But the 120 Hz AMOLED, that's actually pretty nice. So getting in the box, you have the device right away. Pretty nice design. We get a SIM eject tool. Trash. A tempered glass. See. Yeah, I think this is tempered glass. Either that or it's a very thick piece of plastic. In either case, it comes provided with the device, so that's fantastic. And then below that we have our plastic case, so a hard case, that's also pretty nice. Then we got a wired pair of earbuds, charging cable, type A to type C, and a 68 watts charger. Come on, they could have added that one additional watt, it would have been nice. Anyway, let's leave that to the side. So as you can see in a package, we do get a pretty decent amount of content, if we can call that. So headphones, charger, cable, and even a case along with screen protector. So yeah, pretty decent package altogether. Now let's turn on the device. And start off with the display. So the display that you will see right in a second here is, like I mentioned before, an AMOLED display, 1 billion colors, 120 Hz refresh rate, and a peak brightness of 900 nits. And it's a 6.6 inch display running a resolution of 1080 by 2400. So just to kind of say this in a simpler terms for people who don't really know what I just said in with the specs, the display right here is pretty good. So it should be one of the better displays that you can get on like phones, and most likely probably pretty close out of something that is fantastic at the price range that this device most likely comes at. Now I don't actually see the price, but I can probably guess that it's somewhere along $200 US. And just to kind of test that out, I'm gonna check it out, because obviously that will have a crucial part on how good this device is. If it's gonna cost $1,000, it's probably going to be significantly overpriced, and my opinion would change about it. But if it's for $200 and coming with already 120 Hz AMOLED display, that is already pretty good. So this is the Note 30 Pro. Now let's see. So it's about a little bit more, it's I guess closer to like $300 US. I think that's the closest, like, yeah, I think it's about $300. So with that being said, I still think it's a pretty decent device, at least starting off with it. So anyway, let's continue down the list of specs. Now this device comes with a processor Helio G99 and has a 256 GB built-in storage with 8 GB of RAM. This is the only option that you can pick, and there isn't any other one. Now luckily, we do have expandable storage, so if you would want to, you can just pop in SD card in here and a dual SIM on the other side, and you're good to go. Not really sure why the QR scanner turned on. No. How the heck do I close this? Hello? Oh, there we go. There's a almost invisible back button. Continuing into the cameras, because we do have, by the looks of it, pretty decent setup right here, at least from what they advertised. So the main sensor, like I already mentioned, is a 108 megapixel wide sensor PDAF. Then that's where it actually starts to fall apart. So then we get a 2 megapixel macro and depth camera. Now, just to be completely honest, this is garbage. So 2 megapixel macro, absolutely useless, especially with a 108 megapixel wide sensor. So just to clarify this, macro is typically used for close-up shots, like really close, to give you like almost microscopic kind of look at things. Not necessarily that close, but you get the point. It allows you to get really close to whatever you're trying to capture a picture of, and get like really fine detail of whatever that is. Now, with that being said, 2 megapixels is absolutely atrocious for this, and especially when you have a 108 megapixels camera on here, you can just do 2 times zoom. That will produce a significantly higher resolution photo that also provides you with more detail than the dedicated macro lens, making the macro be absolutely useless and be outperformed at the main camera, begging the question, why is it even on here? And same goes for the depth sensor. It's used primarily for like portrait modes, but because it's only 2 megapixels, it tends to create kind of like a halo effect around a subject, because it doesn't have enough pixels to just define the subject from the background. In a sec. Okay, so continuing on, let's see what else we have. So in terms of build quality, let's touch upon this. We have a glass front, no surprise there. We have a plastic frame, unfortunately, so it's a little bit on the cheaper side, and also glass back. And apart from that, we have a fingerprint that doubles as a power button, mounted on the side, obviously, along with volume buttons. Then at the top, we just got microphone little holes right here, and also some markings sound by JBL, which means absolutely nothing. Then we got our SIM/SD tray on the side right here. You can get the light correctly. And then at the bottom, we have a headphone jack, our Type-C charging port, microphone between, and then speaker grills on here, the JBL speakers. And that's basically everything about the design right here. So anything else that I missed? Oh, there is battery size right here. We have a 5000 milliamp hour battery, which is what you would expect from a device this size. We also have the 68 watt charger, and it's advertised that will charge your device to 80% in 30 minutes, which is pretty damn good. And that would basically sum up everything about the device. One last thing that I'm going to mention for people that might be interested is that this device comes with Android 13, and they have a skin, the Infinix skin, which is called XOS 13. So it, I guess, keeps the same number as the Android. So at the moment, I think the newest Android is 14, but it's still just being kind of rolled out to most of the like flagship devices like Samsung's and stuff like that. So it might be a while before this device gets it, but I'm fairly confident that it will get updated to at least Android 14 without a problem. Okay, so that's basically it. The device is relatively mid-range, I would say, with the price obviously being about $300, and it comes with some decent features. One last thing that I wanted to check is where is it? One last thing that I didn't actually mention, which I did see somewhere, oh, there we go, on here, insinuation, can kind of see it. It would suggest that we have wireless charging, and we supposedly do. Let's see if I can. Yep, so it is charging. I'm gonna clear the space and zoom out. There we go. So this is basically my under table charger, wireless one. If I place it on here, you can see it starts charging. So, and it just disappeared. Oh, I think let's try it again. There we go. So you can see it is charging. So even at this price range, we do have wireless wireless charging on this device, so that is actually surprising and really nice to see for people that might be interested in. Now, with that being said, I would probably recommend going for something like a MagSafe accessories if there is a possibility, just because it's going to make it a little bit more convenient to actually use the wireless charger. Other than that, it supposedly supports 15 watts wireless charging, which is also pretty decent. So there we go. That's basically all the info about this device, and just to kind of point out a couple different good things about the device. First one will be obviously the display. Being an AMOLED display running at 120 Hz refresh rate, that is fantastic. It's gonna make the viewing experience, the black levels, and also the smoothness of the display feel absolutely fantastic. Another thing is that we do have expandable storage, and the device itself doesn't actually slack with the specs right here, being 256 gigabytes of storage by default with 8 gigabytes RAM. I would say that's sufficient enough. And battery size and charging speeds are also some of the better ones right here, being a 68 watt charging speed that gets your device to 80% in 30 minutes. That is really good. Now, where it kind of falls apart is the cameras. At least the two additional ones, the two macro and depth ones, are just useless. So those are not going to be very good. The processor right here, I don't think it's very good. I'm not fully certain how powerful this is, but I would assume it compared to something like a Snapdragon 680, I think. Let me just kind of maybe look it up. So this is the Helio G99. Let's see. So that being said, they're roughly about the same. So this is equivalent to a Snapdragon 680, this specific processor that is in here. Now, if I remember correctly, Snapdragon was released some time ago already. And to be fair, the Helio G99, which is in here, does pull ahead in certain things like multi-core scores, specifically in Geekbench, for instance, 6, and single-core scores. So it is faster in certain aspects, but I mean, to be fair, it is faster than Snapdragon for the most part. There is just a couple different things where it just, for instance, like battery life, where it just falls a tiny bit behind. But I would just consider those to be about kind of the same, not really though. So looking at it a little bit more, gaming performance, for instance, score, Snapdragon 680 has a 16, Helio G99 has a 22. Now that is out of 100. So as you can see, they're close, but when we just compare these two together, it's a little bit bigger difference, but considering this is out of 100, it just kind of comes out to be like a couple percentage difference. Let's see, 3D Mark shows a little bit of a different picture right here, being wildlife performance being 184% better than the Snapdragon 680. So in terms of graphical performance, looks like Helio G99 will be significantly better than the Snapdragon. Okay, now that's probably enough talking about the processors in here. So with that being said, I still want to point out this is a lower end processor compared to Snapdragon, for instance, like 7 Gen 1 or 2. These will be just miles ahead of this one, and obviously Snapdragon, like for instance the flagship Snapdragon right now, 8 Gen 2, will just blow this thing out of the water without a problem. So just kind of wanted to point that out. But for the price that you get to pay, this is I would say a pretty good device. So with that being said, hopefully you found this very helpful, and if you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.